Hello? Surely you don't need me to explain who I am, right? You clicked on this video for a reason. Rip and tear, baby. I will explain to you, however, that this world has went to absolute hell in a handbasket, and I'm not exaggerating either. We need to get the hell out of here. Alright, enough jokes. Locating the ship to get off this world is going to be rather easy, I'd say, with the hardest part being fighting off demonic foes. Thankfully, the only sentient species on the planet other than myself are these demonic forces, and that's damn good news. Why is that damn good news? That means I don't have to hold back. Alright then, let's get started. First things first, I'm gonna start deconstructing some of these ancient structures in this hellish place. That way I can build myself a shelter. I need a place I can hide out for a while until we're able to detect the ship on the planet so we can get the hell out of here. The only thing is, we got about 2 days before the undead start showing up looking to rip and tear us apart. I don't think there'll be much of an issue, but it's worth mentioning just in case they start tearing apart my structure and I have to get the hell out of here. Nothing too fancy. A man like myself only needs 4 walls, a bit of bricks for the floor, and a nice bed. You know what? Scratch that. It ain't even gotta be nice. I'm basically laying on cinder blocks with a little blankie. I threw together a table and a little stool to eat my meals at, and then I whipped myself up a fire so that I could cook myself some meals. That's right, even the Slayer gets a little bit hungry from time to time. I won't need to hunt my meals though, as there's some roadkill laying out, either killed by demonic forces or infection. Or something. I don't know, but I'm hungry. Brought them back to camp and started cutting them up with a sharp knife. I would have used the crucible, but it was a little bit too large, and I prefer the meat not to be seared by it. Oh, now we're talking. A nice fried rat with a little bit of lizard parfait. Now I might be eating good, but these meals aren't just for me. No. I also plan on using some of the food around here to maybe tame myself a nice new friend. A bunny rabbit, perhaps. Uh-oh, hold that thought, because it looks like we're gonna have to turn some zombies into a puddle on the ground real quick. From the ground they came, crawling out like monstrous beasts that they were, and straight back into the abyss I sent them. I turned them into mincemeat rather quick and easy like. I've been killing larger and tougher foes than them since before you were out of Pampers, buddy. And even after that, I knocked the blood off my armor and went to bed with a smile on my face. Of course, with my eyes wide open. You never know when someone might sneak up on you. The next day, I picked some agave fruit and started offering it to one of the local bunny rabbits. And you know what? She became my best friend. Oh, so soft and fuzzy. Finally, someone to nuzzle me and snuggle me while I sleep at night, waiting to detect that damn ship so I can get me and my new friend the hell out of here. I brought her back to my base. That way she'll be safe and sound, away from any demons or zombies. And I ended up naming her, yes, you guessed it, Daisy. Aww. My new friend until the very end. We like to partake in activities like eating local roadkill, as well as sleeping and waiting on the ship like I mentioned a moment ago. That's about it. Not much to do around here. Uh-oh. Don't worry, Daisy. Daddy'll handle this. Finally, some real competition to beat and bash into a fine mush onto the ground. Cosmic demonic horrors beyond human comprehension. Yeah, okay, well, I have a shotgun. Let's see how that worked out for you, huh? Not so well, I think. And here I was thinking that you might give me a run for my money. How silly of me. This does mean, however, that the demons are aware of my location. And that is going to be a bit of a problem. Because that means if they know where I'm at, they know where Daisy's at. Maybe we should clear them out first. They have 3 main bases here on the planet, 3 different Imperial bases that were taken when those idiots opened up portals straight to hell. But that also means we only have 3 places to clear out. Well, Daisy, looks like we have some work to do before we leave this planet. Lock and load, baby. We'll head to the first base, which is the closest one to us. Because, well, Obviously, right? Just as we had surmised, the place was absolutely crawling with disgusting, monstrous demons, many of which used to be human, it would seem. Some of the old Empire's Marines corrupted and turned into whatever they are. Well, something tells me that they're not gonna eat this buckshot on their own, so I suppose we'd better get in there and make them. These corrupted Marines were unlike the others that we had faced, and by that I mean that they actually had shields. So I thought it might be better if I lopped off their heads with the old crucible. I'm sure it comes as no surprise, but that seemed to do the trick rather easily, and after a while we had managed to slaughter every single one of them. The portals to hell in these bases have already been closed, but that doesn't mean we don't need to destroy the hives that these bastards are living in. We don't need their parasites taking over any more unlucky humans who end up stumbling upon it if they're surviving out in the hellish woods or something. Look, I don't even know if there are other humans out there. It's just me and Daisy as far as I'm aware. As we continued on to the next base, I noticed that the smoke was clearing and the ash in the sky was starting to dissipate, even if ever so slightly. Really, I only bring that up because that means it's going to be a lot easier to see these freaks when we blow their heads off. Speaking of which, the demons at this place were a lot larger and stronger than anticipated, especially in comparison to the last base we fought. I was thinking it might be nice to have something a lot larger than a shotgun and the crucible to take them on. Maybe something like a BFG, but unfortunately I don't have one. I would have to try to face them head on with the crucible, but after hours of fistfighting with them and slicing many in half, they got the better of me. Damn, I was beaten to a bloody pulp. This normally doesn't happen. Matter of fact, I don't think it's ever happened. I'll be fine once my body heals up a bit, but unfortunately I can't move. And Daisy is being chased by them. Those fucking monsters chased down my poor pet bunny rabbit and slaughtered her. Daisy, my poor, poor bunny. I will have my revenge. I will eradicate every demon from this planet. After a couple of hours, my body had finally healed enough that I could move again. I rushed to grab my sword and my shotgun, and I am getting the hell out of here. I need time to recoup. I can't avenge anybody if I'm broken and disheveled like this. As the demons would chase me, I fired back, rushing out of the area, and eventually I would make my grand escape. Technically, their base was destroyed, so this was a victory, but I lost my best friend, so it was a complete failure. I set up camp a few miles down the road. I needed time so that I could try to heal from my wounds, and that way I could also take some time to maybe plan out a strategy to attack the next base. As I was doing this though, I would finally detect the ship that could get us off this planet. Thankfully, it wasn't too far from me. That's the good news. The bad news? It's at a small outpost that is completely being ripped and torn apart by demonic forces. If I don't hurry, the ship will be next, no doubt. The demons that are here are large and quite strong. However, there are not all that many of them. I think we should be able to handle them rather easily, even without the majority of my armor. If we could manage to get aboard the ship, we could probably turn the weapons on, but it looks like that turret is completely out of ammunition. Looks like I'm gonna have to handle this one all by my lonesome with the shotty. And also just a helmet. I'm completely naked. I didn't waste any time. I ran headfirst straight into the fire. No pun intended. These sons of bitches killed my pet and now they're gonna feel the wrath. I swapped over to slugs instead of buckshot because I wanted them to feel the gaping holes that we were blowing in them. I made sure that every shot and every swing and slice of the crucible was as excruciatingly painful as possible. Looks like my job here is done. Finally time to take the ship for myself. Or so I thought. On the inside were 3 corrupted Marines taking cover and opening fire on me. So, naturally, I would do the same. But because of their hellish shields, my slugs were bouncing right off. Looks like I'll need to get up close and personal to finish this little fight. You smell that? Smells like victory. As well as burning demon hide. A lot of the Imperial crew that they had killed started turning into zombies. Thankfully, I think the heat ended up killing them, but no doubt there'll be more very soon. Probably for the best if we go ahead and take off, I'd say. Huh. My. Look what we have here. A BFG 9000. Could have used this a few days ago, but better late than never, I suppose. I believe this is gonna come in mighty handy for where we're going. Speaking of which, let's get the hell out of here, shall we? It'll be a lot easier to plan our attack on the final demonic base once we don't have to worry about any more demons attacking the ship. There we are, now that is much better, sitting in a low orbit well away from any of our enemies. As long as they don't somehow teleport aboard, we should be fine. We gotta do something about me not having armor though. I wonder if I could... This cryo-sleep casket isn't vacant. Let's crack it open. An Imperial Marine. Poor bastard's infected. Best I go ahead and put you out of your misery. There's no saving you now, I'm afraid. Well, Marine armor isn't exactly on par with my own, but it's better than nothing, I suppose. Red isn't exactly my color either, but I guess it's less cleanup. When I get blood all over it, you'll barely even notice. Thankfully, that fella seemed to have some uranium in his pockets that he took into the pod with him. How kind. I suppose I could use this as well to rearm the ship's defense system. And we'll chuck some of these corpses out the airlock. Don't want that zombie virus getting to them and causing them to spring back to life. Especially not while I'm piloting the ship trying to get back down to the last remaining demon base. Speaking of which, I suppose we should go ahead and make our departure. I'm ready to start slaughtering these sons of bitches once more. I know what you might be thinking. Couldn't you just beat the game right now and leave in the ship? You've already got everything you need. Yes, I could technically do that, but I still need my revenge. The last remaining base was in complete shambles with very little structure, mostly just great big open fields in between some hellish lava fields and mountains. Absolutely perfect. That means I'll have a clear line of sight. The forces here were similar in size to the second base, the same one where my sweet Daisy was murdered in cold blood. They had many different types of warriors, one of which appeared to be their leader. Perhaps a Hell General? I'm not exactly sure, but it hardly matters because none of them will be making it out of here alive. They may outnumber me 100 to 1, but I didn't come alone this time. I brought the ship and its unrelenting turret. Let's give them hell. A bit anticlimactic, I'll admit, but it did get their attention. Now it's time for me to join the fray, along with my new weapon. As the name would suggest, the BFG 9000 was a big-ass gun, and it was a badass gun, easily killing and obliterating, even disintegrating demons within 1 to 2 of its mighty blasts. I was actually pretty surprised to see how resilient some of the larger demonic forces were against it. But after I killed them off, it was mostly just the infected Marines who, after getting sliced in half by the Crucible, as per usual, yes, you guessed it, they died, and eventually we won. I think it helped out quite a bit in this battle that the ship's defensive systems were keeping their attention off of me sometimes. Nevertheless, a win's a win. Do I feel better? Maybe a little bit, but my poor bunny rabbit is still dead at the hands of these monsters. And there's no bringing her back. Even if I killed trillions upon trillions of these freaks, I don't think it would ever patch the hole that has been left in my heart. Another bunny rabbit. Well, there might be something that could put a bandage over the metaphorical gaping bloody hole in my organ. A new pet bunny. Using some agave fruit, I made myself yet another friend. A soft and warm, fuzzy companion to keep me company. I'm aware that you'll never be Daisy, little furry friend. But you could be Daisy 2.0, and that's almost as good. Consider it the greatest honor of your mammal life to be named after the greatest bunny ever. You will be second greatest, not to worry. Since Daisy 2.0 and I are going to be traveling in the ship for quite some time, I want to ensure that we are both comfortable. I gathered up some wood and made her a nice little box to lie in with some straw. Home sweet home, girl. At least for now, until we get back to Earth. Do you want to make any pit stops on our way back there, or... Oh, well, you're asleep. Perhaps I'll check back in with you later, I suppose. All right, let's get the hell out of here. Fear ye not, Earthlings. We're on our way.